What's up, everybody? Welcome to Most Excellent Entertainment. I am your host, Keith, and this week I am talking to a band from our neighbors up north, and they put out an amazing record last year. Honestly, my favorite album of the year. And with me this week is Timo, Julian, and Oliver from the Moonlight Seekers. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you. First of all, I love the album. I found you guys through Facebook, through a little ad on Facebook, and you get millions of those things. But there was just something about the look and the name, and so I checked you guys out, and I've pretty much been following you since the first single, at least. And Timo and we got together and did a little Zoom call, which was really fun. Um, and yeah, that's just a little background, but yeah, I guess we'll start out with, how did you guys get together as a band? Like, how did this happen?
I can maybe start and then you can jump in. I think you'll know what time. Back in the days, I think like maybe 7 or 8 years ago, I was renting Julian's studio to have rehearsal with like a cover band of mine that we had. And I started working on some songs that I wrote with them, and they were more doing this as a hobby. And when it was getting serious, there was some frustration. And actually, at one moment, I snapped and I decided like to just fire everybody because I wanted to push this thing to a professional level, and the guys were not following up. And Julian was actually in the room while that happened.
Oh
And
man.
when everybody left, he's like, you know what? I can play drums with you, and we can like manage to build a band. And then he did actually put. We had a different lineup since, but
Mhm.
he did like bring some musician in audition until we found like the right guys. Just before the right album, like Oliver joined at some point. He was the second guitarist, and we knew like once we had this guy in the band, we were going international. That's for sure. He's hell of a
Yeah.
musician, hell of a human being, and handsome too.
Awesome. Indeed.
Yeah.
We called him at first the $1 million melody man.
Nice. You always got to have that guy, uh, the one that the girls kind of come to see. So.
Yeah, and then the guy that's playing the bass is actually a really good guitar player, and actually Oliver brought him in the band because our the guy that we had earlier had a little personal problem in his life, and he decided to quit the band because he was
Hmm.
exhausted from everything. He wanted to get away from the industry, and
Yeah.
then Oliver brought the other Julian in the band, and at that moment we knew like, okay, now we have like a really solid team, and
Yeah.
that's when we started working with a producer, and then the rest is history.
Awesome, man. So, the bass player that you have now, you mentioned before we came on, didn't actually play on the album. Is that correct? Okay. So one of the things that I notice about the music is how groove driven it is. Um, when you had to make the switch, how hard was it to lock in the rhythm section again, or did he kind of fall in pretty quickly?
Well, you mean with the new bass player now, or the bass
Yeah,
player
yeah, with the new
before?
bass player now. Yeah,
New bass player now.
yeah.
Well, it felt actually natural, and I think that was one criteria that we had is when he first of all he did like the last 3 shows with us last year, so
Okay.
there was already like this you know chemistry in between us. But when he came in to write some new songs with us, we just start playing like right away. He just came in and we just did like we always do when we compose some new songs, and he just started like playing and interacting, and it just felt natural. And we did like 6 songs in 2 days, so it just felt so natural that we felt like, yeah, this is the right guy.
Awesome, awesome. So, how does the songwriting process go? Does it come out of jams, or do you guys have like an idea that you build from? How does that work?
Yeah, I would say that it's mostly jams we do together as a band, and it's kind of I like to compare it as building a Lego tower.
Hmm.
Everyone brings a piece, and we never know what we're gonna get, but it's interesting. That's the beauty of the process. So yeah.
Well, other
That's
times also like I would like write a riff or have an idea on the side, or Oliver or even Julian. You know, Julian plays a couple of instruments also. So sometimes it goes just out of jams that we
mhm.
improvise, but some other times a guy brings an idea to the table, and then everybody like puts his little grain of salt, and then we build a song around it. So we mostly work every song together as a band. Most of the songs are like not at an ending point before we start working with the band. We just bring ideas in, like put it over there and see what
It's
happens.
really rare that someone's composes the whole song and brings it to the band. Sometimes it happened before with Timo writing a couple of songs, but we always end up as modify some parts and just bring it to a whole new level. So yeah.
Yeah, we kind of have a system now because we know our forces are like our abilities are complementary. So we just know like, okay, I know I pushed this idea far enough that when I'm going to bring it to the band, it's just going to rise up. So
Yeah,
we work in a way that we keep the system working fine.
awesome. So, um, once you and Julian kind of got together and got some members and got the first lineup locked in, um, how did you go? Like, did you start writing songs right away, or did you kind of jam on some covers to get to know each other, or how did that work out?
Well, our we were like starting to work with our very first producer, and the way it happened, it was when our producer like came and see the whole band with this new basis. He just told us like, you know what, guys, we should put everything aside and just write from scratch. Let's start something like a whole new era. And at first we were like kind of surprised because we had a lot of songs written already, but
Hmm.
what we did is we listened to like everything we had, and we point out what was the strength of the band, which was the modern rock riffs
Yeah.
mixed with the rap and slam flow that Timo brings. So we kind of started like, okay, let's use those two strengths and build new songs from that. So no, we didn't do any covers as audition. We just played some old songs and jam. We're really like a composition band. We don't do
Yeah.
much cover song. We never did actually. So it was like, yeah, when he came in, we just turned a page and write some new songs, and then we just wrote the whole album that you like so
And many
much.
more.
Yeah.
And many more. Yeah,
Yeah.
awesome. So, um, would you like just starting off writing songs, and like you said, many more songs? How did you guys figure out the 7 tracks that made the album? Because that's a pretty short list of songs. Um,
Yeah, I'm gonna take that one. Like,
yeah,
it's funny because in the earlier podcast when you did the review of the album, you said like,
yeah,
"Oh, there should be like 3 other songs in that album." And like,
yeah,
originally there was actually 3 other songs. It was
yeah.
exactly going to like around 30 minutes.
Hmm.
Like we wrote this whole batch of songs, and then we decided to bring those 10 into the studio, and we
Yeah.
mixed them, we mastered them, and you know, because it was our first album, and we had some pretty awesome connection in the industry, we just send it to people to listen to it, to let us know what they think. And one of the things that was coming back over and over again was that there was like those two vibes, this kind of indie folk soft rock, and then the
Hmm.
alternative rock, a little punkish.
Yeah.
And that we had to take out a couple of songs to pick one another, to like just to make sure that our first album has a clear direction, and for
Hmm.
people to hang on to, and then that from there we could go like do little old stuff in other styles, but for the first one. So we decided, because in our identity we prefer a bit like as a band the more alternative rock punkish. So we decided to
Hmm.
cut a couple of the songs that were more into the folk indie to make it like
Okay.
a short and sweet album, but like with a like a unified sound.
Yeah.
That's
Cool.
that's the reason why.
Okay. Um, yeah. So when it's funny because when I listen to the album, I hear a lot of like 70s and 80s influences. We talked about that before. Um, and you guys kind of lean to the modern rock side of it, I suppose. But do you think it's fair to say that there are some '70s and '80s influences in the music?
Yeah, absolutely. I
Yeah.
think it mainly comes from Timo's musical influences. He
Okay.
likes Tom Petty a lot. So yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, Tom for the Rolling Stones, you know, the Beatles, name it. I'm a big, huge fan of like old rock and roll. I listen to a lot of like new stuff also, but it's in my blood. I can't deny it.
Yeah,
But
for
I
sure.
like the way you present it because that was one of our main goal to that you can feel this influence, but it
Hmm.
doesn't sound like classic rock.
Right.
So we're trying just to be on the edge of like, yes, you can find the old sound, but we're a modern rock band. So I like the way you just picture it because it represents what we wanted.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys definitely have a clear picture. When you listen to the album, you can tell who the band is. Like, there's definitely an identity there. The tracks make sense. Kind of build towards the end of the album. It's definitely feels like a full idea. So that's really cool to me because I grew up. I'm older, obviously, and I grew up in a time when albums mattered. You know, and the flow of the songs mattered, and people weren't just throwing singles out at the world. So, how important was it to you guys to make an album that sounded like a piece of work?
Very much important, actually. You know, it's funny because, as you said, people are like, music now is so available everywhere. It's like
Yeah,
so easy to get that people are taking for granted, you know? But I still lay in my bed and put some CDs in and just
yeah,
listen to a full. I did that with Radiohead 2 days ago. Two full album Radiohead, just closing my eyes listening to it. And, you
nice.
know, there's a craft in that. And it was important for us because we are music lover, and I know there's some people listening to the whole album. So
Yeah,
yes, it's cool to have single album. It was like we argued on that for like I don't know how much hours on like which track we should put and which space of silence between each track and like in the whole picture in the message which one in the energy also flow that like the you know the whole wave of emotion that you go through as you're listening to the album must be some kind of flowy vibe, you know, to get somewhere. So it was really in a conscious mind that we did
Mm.
that. Yeah.
I
that's
think for
awesome.
me too, just putting an album out in 2025 is something that I can feel myself proud of it, and it feels like a whole work finish. If you just put out a singles like a lot of artists does, and I don't judge any of that. I think it can be a good solution in 2025 with all the money that it costs to make an album. But for us,
Yeah,
we had this idea in mind to put something big and to give our 110% on something we want to do together as a band and as friends too. So yeah.
Yeah, that's
that's
right.
awesome.
That's right. I agree with that. And and now we're feeling that since the first one is done, released, we're 100% focused on the second one. Like
Yeah,
and the second one will be like a new, yeah, a new chapter, a whole new era maybe for the
awesome.
band. So it's a, yeah.
So, you kind of touched on this a little bit, but there are actual physical copies out in the world that you can purchase of the album. How important was it to you guys to have something that the fans could hold in their hands and actually listen to, as opposed to just little speaker in their pocket?
It was actually very important because like you know just the moment that we unboxed and like I'll start with like for us I think just to be
Mhm.
able to hold like something physical like okay we did that and now it's really like it is real. It is
Yeah,
genuinely happening. We did that, and I think like actually from what I've learned, that you know the records are getting back.
yeah,
Like people are starting to getting back records, CD also, even cassettes because yes, people are nostalgic, but people want to have some kind of people are buying CDs at the shows. They're not even opening it or listening to it. They just want to have this physical souvenir, and they know it's directly helping the band.
Yeah.
So for me, it was actually because for a long time ago, I visualized myself just receiving my CD and listening to my CD in my car, and you know
yeah,
something I worked on with my friends, and it was really like important for me, but I think it is also for the fans that we have this.
Like you said, I think that physical CD is a real proof of something you did when you played music and record music. And apart from that, I think the object is a beautiful object to have, just to collection
Yeah,
your city. So yeah, I think it's just for me at least a proof, and it feels more real that I did that, and I can feel more proud of it. I think just by having the CD in my hand.
It's
Yeah,
a
that's
symbol.
awesome. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely, absolutely. So, who put the packaging together for the CD? Because it's really cool looking, like the moth and all I'm not even sure what all that means, but how did that come about?
It's all conceptual. You want to take it?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. It's we work with a very old friend of mine who does a lot of things for us, but including like all the graphics, the visual aspect of the band. So he did help us first of all, like to have the picture for the album, which is a mix of our logo, but with it did include a duality in it, just to represent the whole perspective meaning of it. And then we just kept on working with him. So we did well. Actually, Timo and him worked a lot together to do like the interior of the CD too. Timo wrote the text together. We decided like who we wanted to thank, special thanks and stuff like that. So for us, everything we do it as a family. So we try to have like friends as collaborators as much as possible. People who like and that we can really feel that they want to encourage the band, and they relate to it too. They relate to the product. They relate to the meaning of it. So having an old friend of mine to work with us and help us with all of that is just great.
Yeah,
Feels great.
I think it's fair to say that he's kind of a fifth member of the band. You know, he's following us in tours. He's doing the merge. He's taking the photography. He's helping us brainstorm on every visual aspect. He's like a multidisciplinary artist. He does a lot of things, and we love him. We call him the Wizard,
Yeah,
actually.
the wizard.
Nice, awesome, excellent, excellent. So, how did the speaking of touring, how did the live shows kind of evolve? What are the crowds like now compared to when you guys first started? Um, and what is the overall music scene? Are you guys playing around Toronto, or where are you guys playing in Canada?
Yeah, yeah, that was the thing that like during the podcast you said we were from Vancouver, but we're actually from Montreal.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah, no,
sorry.
no, no, no,
No
no
worries.
worries. It's just like
Uh,
500 kilometers away, like something like 300
ah,
miles, 3,000 miles.
sorry, man.
So the scene actually here, like I think everywhere else, is pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like there's no like we have to rent the spot, and then most of the cases pay for rental, and then we sell the tickets. So like if there's no people to the show, sometimes we lose money. But this summer we did around like 15 shows, and it was really nice. We played a couple in Montreal, went to Quebec City. We also traveled north of Quebec, and I think that was one of the most awesome part of the trip, because in Montreal we got friends and family coming, like our
Mhm.
crowd is there, so like the same people, they know the song, it's cool. But when we went up there, the place were jacked, like full of people that didn't know anything about us, or maybe they
Yeah.
listened to a song on their cell phone just before the show, and the crowd was like cranked as hell. Like we did
That's
that
awesome.
one show in the little
Yeah,
pub.
yeah, that was
There were maybe
amazing.
like, I don't know, 80 people, but the plate was like jam packed, and we
Yeah.
couldn't get out of the stage. Like
Yeah,
we had to play songs that we played earlier in the show because they wouldn't let us leave. It was
Nice.
that
just
was
crazy.
crazy, man.
We're like, we don't have any more songs. They're like, play this one again.
That's awesome.
Okay, what else can we do?
Oh man,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
And yeah, actually, I'm working on the booking right now, and we're going in Ontario this year. I think we have
Okay.
like 8 booked already for the summer. So we're going to Ottawa, Montreal again. We're going to some places we went before. We're also
Mhm.
doing a festival in a city here in Quebec. So we're trying to get like bigger and bigger each year. But
Yeah.
at the point where we are, we just try to do the most shows as we could, meet the people, try to get new fans, touch the people with the music, and get them in the vibe. So
Nice, nice. So, are you guys out there in a van, just driving? Is that
Exactly.
yeah?
this guy's
Awesome,
fan.
awesome.
The truck owner.
Oh, man. That's a that's a way to bond. That's for sure.
Yeah, well,
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
was always my dream. I mean, my dream is to hang around in my truck and just drive across countries and do shows. So I
Yeah,
already have the truck. Now I have the band too. So
Oh, you did
awesome.
another
Closer.
purchase actually. I don't know.
Yeah.
Did do you know that, Oliver?
I don't know if you told him.
Okay, no, I
Oh,
don't
no.
think so. You
What's
actually
up?
did a new
Surprise.
purchase also that comes with a truck.
A new truck.
Yeah.
Okay, hey,
It's the spare
No,
truck.
no, it's better than that.
Yeah.
twice the truck.
I was tired of renting, so I bought my first trailer.
Oh,
Oh,
A
nice.
fucking
nice.
Very
big ass
nice.
trailer. Yeah,
very
and it
nice.
matches the color of the truck. So
the color
of the
That's awesome.
That we're planning on building a little kitchen in there, so we
Wow.
want to
Okay.
be able to hang out and invite some other people to hang out and have some
I thought you were going to say
Nice.
chicks.
Nice, nice. Hey, come back to the kitchen.
I'm like, okay, he's going there.
Hey, that's awesome.
But the little kitchen, I think, will be nice because for us, like, live events starts when we get somewhere. That
Yeah,
we always make sure that everybody's feeling comfortable. That when we reach to a new place, that everybody feels welcome, and that we do feel welcome at that place. So we just build. We're trying to, you know, have a nice vibe and make
yeah,
sure there's a nice vibe for the whole time we are somewhere. So having this kitchen with us, I'm pretty sure will create some very memorable moments.
yeah, yeah,
Actually, I like to say that the show starts when we leave in the truck. For me, that's when
Right.
that's the perfect moment when we're in the zone and we're starting to go as a band where we want to play and meet people. So yeah.
yeah, yeah. And that's one thing that I noticed about you guys that I think is really cool. You're building a community. Uh, I thought it was really cool that Timo and I did the team reach the Zoom meeting and talked, and I got to know about the band. That was neat, and like you're very interactive online. You guys have started doing these little shorts that are really funny, doing different things
We got plenty more
with the
coming.
songs. Yeah. So how did that like whose idea was that, and how did that
Okay,
all
so
come about?
two things in there. Like the first thing that you said about building the community, one of the craziest things that started happening is like people that we really don't know starting to write to us like, oh my god, I love your song so much.
Yeah.
Like it means the world to me because I wrote like, we wrote this song about my childhood trauma with my father. We started receiving
Mhm.
messages from people say, hey man, it speaks to me. This like means the world to us because I think that's why all artists are doing art. At least for us, I'm going to talk for us. It's like connecting with the people, through
Yeah.
live shows. But like with the internet nowadays, you can like connect with anybody in the world at any moment. So this is why also we want to connect directly with the audience because this is what it's all about. It's about like human to human connection. So we're going to
Yeah.
keep doing that even if it becomes like or when it's going to become really really big. Mano to mano experience is like really important for us in shows and through internet also. And for the reels, actually we traveled twice to Florida to meet some other musicians and with a company that actually helped us with digital marketing. Street team that we met ourselves on,
Yeah.
and we met this awesome guy called Yanni, who's just the funniest, good-looking guy, and he's a cameraman, and he's also
Okay.
really good with social media. And he was nice enough to like help us to get a strategy with social media. And he showed us a couple of bands that sounded like us and what they were doing, and we decided to film those videos. And actually, all of the videos you see I've been filming like 2 hours in North
Nice.
Carolina this
Awesome.
summer. We just changed the clothes and like brainstorm really quick because he did
Yeah.
that for free for us, but he had like a short schedule available, and we were like traveling through the United States, passing by his place, like, okay, let's shoot this. So we're gonna shoot some new ones soon, but
Okay.
yeah, it was a really really fun experience, and I think it's gonna get like we're just starting out and see what happens,
Mhm.
getting some data. So
Yeah.
it's gonna get better and better. But we
More
really enjoy.
polished.
Like we're laughing so much doing those. It's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, you can see it. They look fun.
Yeah.
They look like you guys are having a good time. It's really cool. So I just want to throw this out there because since you mentioned Florida, I said this in the podcast that we did previously. I believe there is a band from the early '90s called "I Love You" from Florida.
Okay.
And you guys have a very, you guys sound similar.
Don't
So
even
check
know
them
them.
out if you get a
Okay.
chance. They're
Sure.
on.
Sure. Will.
They're streaming. Um,
Okay.
I just thought it was kind of neat. Like I'm sure you guys must just have similar influences or something because there's no way you ever heard that band.
Are they still together? Are they still
I
together?
don't think so. Yeah, I don't think so. They put out two albums um in the early '90s, but
Okay.
yeah,
Definitely gonna check
Nice.
them out. Yeah.
you guys have a similar sound to them. In my opinion, you could listen to it and be like, Keith doesn't know what he's talking about. But it's
No,
never
but from
know.
what I heard in the podcast, you got a head up on your shoulder. I think you're mostly like right on when you were talking about influences through the songs and everything. I'm like, oh
Oh,
yeah, you
awesome.
got that right. Yeah,
Awesome.
totally. Yeah. And
Very cool, man.
sometimes you get influenced by stuff and you're not even conscious of it.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
somebody else talked to you about you like, oh, you know what? That probably had been in the back of my mind when I was writing it, but I didn't do it intentionally.
Yeah. Yeah. So, speaking of writing the songs, like one thing that I think is cool is like you said, you write songs and other people can relate to them. You write about kind of life and things that people go through and just things that happen every day and things that people think about, like well, like your father and the things that I think it's your brother in the song, right? That
Yeah,
you and then
it's
like
all about me
oh, okay, I
all the
got you.
time,
Yeah.
always.
and,
I'm so
and,
interesting.
and hey, at least you could, say it in an interesting way. And that was kind of what I was going to get to. Like, how do you write about everyday things but make it sound interesting? Like in a way that are you conscious of that? Like, how does that work?
Well, I'm writing most of the lyrics, but the guys are helping me a lot. Like
Yeah.
sometimes there's like the mantra that we have is that if I don't feel what I'm saying, or if I don't really like genuinely think what I'm saying, it's not gonna sound good. So if I don't feel a subject or anything, I'm just not gonna do it. So guys help me sometimes like structure the things or putting me on a certain trail so I can write on stuff. But I write most of the lyrics, so obviously it comes from like my experiences, but I've been watching like all the documentaries about songwriters and everything, and I always try to get in that point where it's precise enough that you know what it's talking about, but it's wide enough that you can interpret it at your own spices, that you
Yeah.
can make your own story through it. Because if it gets too precise, you're not going to reach people, and if it's too wide, then you don't know what the fuck it's talking about. So,
Right.
but you want
Right.
to,
Sure.
I'm always trying to get like on that fine line to be in the sweet spot
Yeah. Yeah.
intentionally.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's funny. I don't know if you're familiar with the band the Connells. They were a '90s indie rock band. They actually are still making albums. They're like 60 years old now, and they're still putting stuff out. But their guitar player writes the songs, and the singer said he doesn't even know what the songs are about. He just kind of tries to feel them, and I think that's such a interesting idea. Like you're just up there singing and
If it works for them,
yeah, trying to
good
figure
for
it
them.
out, but it's funny.
I don't
Yeah.
care. I'm just singing the words.
Yeah, just
Sounds
singing
good,
it
so
out.
who gives a shit?
Yeah, I can add
Oh,
one
man.
thing on top of that that I
Yeah.
wanted to say earlier, but I forgot is the way we write songs
Hmm.
is we never stop trying and trying different ideas and new ideas until everybody feels comfortable about it.
Yeah.
And that is true for the vocal, that is true for the lyrics, that is true for the riffs, that is true for everything. as long as we don't feel as a band that we're completely comfortable, everybody, we don't stop trying. So
Awesome.
one thing that is important about that is we leave the ego
Yeah.
aside,
Yeah, sure,
and
sure.
it's important for us that we work for the song. And as for the lyrics, often we put some songs on the ice just because we still didn't find the subject that Timo can relate to and feel comfortable singing on. So sometimes you have some killer riffs, but I mean, there's no soul on top of it. So we just take a pause and continue like brainstorming. What do you feel about it? What kind of subject could we talk about? And as long as we don't find this that he feels comfortable on top of the music, then we don't we don't move forward. So
It's
that's
always
an
my
important
it's
thing.
always my fault.
As long as at the end, you know, it works
Waiting on
out.
you again.
Oh man. So, so with the new stuff that you guys are gonna put out at some point, um, are you pulling from some of the other songs that you've written, or have you completely moved on to a new batch of songs? And if that's the case, what do you do with the old songs? Like they just kind of
We mostly started from scratch again. What we
yeah.
our idea in mind to keep this sound we found in the first album and keep it evolving in time. So for the old songs, I think we just put it in a folder on our Google Drive, and,
Okay.
and we put it in archives. But maybe one day we'll return to it and just try to make something new with a fresh ear on
Okay.
it. So yeah,
You know,
we'll
like,
see.
yeah, I never see this as a loss because you're gonna write like 100 bad songs before you write a good one.
Right.
So we just
Yeah,
throw ideas in there, and some of the songs you get really attached, and you're like, oh, it was a good song, and like years later,
yeah,
you write a song similar to that, but like way better and way more evolving. You're like, you know what? I would never have written that song if I hadn't like do that one as a draft and then go there. So yes, you put
Yeah.
it in the folder, and maybe sometimes we're gonna use some lyrics from that or guitar riff from the other one behind. It's still like in the backpack, but we've learned like that like trying to work on our old song and trying to make it sound like we want it to sound is way harder than just write a new one. So we just
yeah,
Sure.
keep writing new stuff and better things are coming that way.
yeah. It's just easier that way.
Yeah. Cool. And as far as the new stuff, you said the sound is gonna evolve some. Do you have any idea what direction the band is going in?
I think it's going to lean further into alternative rock. So
Okay.
we got and we want to bring back. I say back because in the older songs that I brought to the band at the beginning, there was a little more melancholy, a little
Mhm.
more like emotional songs. So we don't want to get too cheesy about it, but we want to bring a little more tension and a little more depth into emotion. And
Okay.
also, we want like some killer rock. Like we want to make some people headbang to the show. So we're working towards like leaning deeper into alternative rock, punkish. We actually have already a few pretty fucking banger songs
Yeah.
that I can't wait for people to hear.
It's gonna be a
Awesome.
killer rock
Oh yeah,
album.
oh yeah, oh
I
yeah.
can't wait. I
Coming to
can't
you.
wait. I can't wait. So, you mentioned you're gonna do another tour cycle in the summertime. Um, do you think you'll have something out at least digitally by then, or to promote?
Yeah, so actually, we're working with a new producer that
Okay.
is he's in like a mythical. He's like the band that he's in is like the king of underground punk here in Quebec,
Oh,
and
awesome.
he was like the producer for a lot of big bands, and he helped them start it up. So we're really happy to work with him. And the
Okay.
plan is we're still writing songs and putting out ideas as we're building the studio in the basement of this very house.
Awesome.
And we're starting recording, I think, in May, at the end of May. Starting to
Okay.
put some songs out pretty quickly after that. Like maybe when we start the tour in July, we want to have at least a single out, and then
Okay.
one is going to come one after the other for like every 4 or 6 weeks until we
Yeah.
die.
Awesome. Oh man. So you mentioned you had 10 songs going in for the first album. Uh And just now you said you'd put singles out until you die, but but how do you know like when you've written enough to put an album together?
I don't think that's a question we do have. I think we're
Yeah.
just doing
Yeah.
the most as much as we can
Okay.
until the date, and then we'll
Yeah.
record as much as we can, and then from there we'll filter like what's good enough, what's not
Yeah.
good enough, and what feels coherent. So we don't really have any target of length or number of songs.
Okay.
We're just trying to do our best, and
Yeah, we'll see what sticks and
yeah,
put the
Yeah.
best out of it. Maybe it's gonna be 5 songs. Maybe it's gonna be 15. We're just gonna put the
Right.
ones that are like,
Yeah.
there's nothing about it that we're not like 110% proud of it,
Yeah.
and this is going to be the album.
Yeah, and I think our
Awesome.
producer will help us for that
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
he's there to tell us which song is good and which song is not good. So
Guys,
just
you suck.
so yeah, we'll see from there what song sticks in the album and what song doesn't. So yeah.
Yeah. So whenever I talk to a band from Canada, um one of the things that I always kind of bring up is the Tragically Hip because they are one of my favorite bands. And they are basically icons in Canada and barely a blip in America.
I know it's
Um
crazy.
yeah, so how do you do you think it's hard for a band from up north to come down to the States? Because you would think, the hip would be as huge in America as they are in Canada. We're right next to each other. Um, and if you think that's a challenge, like, do you guys have any plans to overcome it and get down here and
Oh, we
and
sure
uh,
want to. We sure
conquer
want to.
America?
I don't. I've seen every documentary and I've read everything I could about the Tragically
Yeah,
Hip because I'm a
yeah,
big fan also, and
yeah,
I'm not quite sure why it never worked in the United States because they were so big in Canada. And maybe that's why it didn't work because, but a
yeah.
lot of Canadian artists, Neil Young, the big bands here over here went down to the United States and it worked. But
Right.
right now, it's hard to play shows in the United States because you need to get a work visa, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's
Yeah.
is very expensive,
Okay.
and you have to ask it for like 2 years in advance, and you're
Oh
gonna
my
get an
gosh.
answer maybe like a couple of weeks before the tour starts. So you're always putting like as independent artists, it's like you're
Right.
really
Right.
putting yourself in danger by trying to do that at an early stage. You have to
Yeah.
kind of build a community down there and make people want you there before you
Hmm.
actually go. Like you need to get a call like, okay, like we got city full of people that you could fill like a 200 venue. So now we want you. And then people in the United States are going to work to get the visas for us because if we do
Sure.
it on our hand, it's a lot of risk. Actually,
Yeah.
for this summer, it's spoiler alert. It's not
Hmm.
anything confirmed, but we might go and do a couple of shows in France because
Oh
we got
wow.
contact over there. Yeah, in September. So
Awesome. Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah. France and Japan are so open
Japan.
to,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've just noted, like, from people who I know, that tour in other countries, like France and Japan seem to be very
Also South
open.
Korea.
Yeah. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Haven't
Let's
heard
do some
that.
K-pop, man.
even
Hey, why not, man?
I feel that.
Man, K-pop is, where did that even come from? It's cartoons now, and jeez, man. I have a daughter. She's 6 and she loves K-pop. I don't understand, but
right. But
hey,
that's the funny thing with music. It's like
yeah.
there's no written path. It's just
Mhm.
you throw lines at the sea and you go where the fish bites. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's it's uh it's a different way of seeing it. I mean, we just want people to relate to our music, but you never know where in the world and for what reason. It's also, I mean, something can happen that was not planned, and suddenly this band gets to be known in
Yeah.
this country for
Right. Right.
whatever reason, and in the other country you can try and buy some marketing and try it, but nothing will ever happen. So that's something funny and maybe a bit weird about music. So
Mm.
we
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, at this point, we want to connect with people,
Yeah.
and
Mm,
if there's a batch of people that likes us at the same place, well, they'll see us there. You
right
know.
on. Nice, nice. Yeah. Do you think that there's there's so many different paths, especially now with the internet. Like there's people you can do stuff almost with no team, or you can have a huge team, or you can have a record label or no record label, and an algorithm picks you up and you get discovered. Um, how hard is it to navigate that kind of thing? Because that's very interesting to me. Like it used to be, you know, you hit the road, an A&R guy sees you, you put out an album, the label pushes you, but it's a completely different situation now.
Absolutely, and it's more complicated actually because
Yeah.
there's so many ways of doing it, and it's easy to get lost in like trying too many things. I think
Mhm.
like I've been learning in the past. I've been full time on the band since like I think 14 or 15 months now,
Oh
and
wow.
I've been doing all these researches on like what should we do, what social media, the ads. I've been trying stuff, and some work, some didn't work. But at some point, you need to like find a direction, and even though you're wearing a lot of hats, just like try to commit in one direction and then
Yeah.
adjust yourself along the way, because it's not true that yeah, like the people that get discovered like on TikTok and becomes like huge and stay huge for a long time, that's like
Mhm.
1%.
Right.
The people that
Sure.
are making it out there and that last, they work their ass off
Yeah.
without any like I know, and bands are like putting money on and losing money for a couple of years, and then they get discovered. They full venue sometimes, but they owe money to their production
Right.
company, and then at some point they get their community and they get people in front of the crowds, and then they get to like last for long. So we're in that
Yeah.
stage where a lot of bands give up because it's hard, and you keep on playing shows, people start to like you, but there's not real money that pays
Yeah.
off every investments that we make. But we know by talking with people and seeing the band that work that like it's just a phase that we need to work our ass off, build a community, and we trust that our music is good and it can relate to people. We're proud of what we're doing, so we're just gonna push forward until it happens.
Awesome. Yeah. Please don't give up. I will be so. I will be upset if you disappear. So please don't.
We're just
Um.
starting out.
Yeah. Right on, man. So what do you guys? You've already touched on this a bit. I mean, there's going to be new music. There's going to be a tour. Um, but kind of s- to solidify the question, what do we have coming up? What can we expect from you guys over the next year or so?
Oh well.
You wanna go?
No, go ahead.
So like as I'm saying, for like the next few months, we're only posting the reels and everything because we're in the creative phase, and it's really important for us to like give all our mental space to that. And I think we're going to be like more on the public scene through the spring and the summer. So as we said, we're going to be touring East Canada from like July to September, then hopefully France, and then probably we're going to do a big show for like the release of the album around maybe like beginning of winter or the fall. But from there, we just step in the cycle that we're going to keep like doing the cycle of like putting music out. When the first album is going, when the second album is going to be released, we're probably going to be writing the third one, and then we want to just keep putting things
Man.
out, keep the creative brain active, and also getting out there and playing more shows. Like for now, it's been working that way well for like shows during the summers and few shows during the winter. But maybe we're going to start doing like more shows during the winter as the opportunity comes, and that
Okay.
we're able to like clear some times on our schedule to do. Like I'm the only one actually that is 100% on the band. Julian,
Hmm.
he's working his ass off to finance the band, and Ali there is a couple other bands to pay the rent and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
at some point we're gonna have a little income flow. We're gonna be able to be like a lot more out there. The next year, I think it's pretty set up as like as I told you earlier. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. So yeah, I mean, I want to thank you guys so much for coming on. This has been fun. I want to thank you for the music. Uh, man, the album's so great. Anybody who's watching this podcast, go check it out. And in that vein, anything that you guys want to say or plug or tell people where they can find you, go right ahead.
We're mostly on, like, we're everywhere: TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, but we're mostly posting on Instagram. And if you want to write to us, you have a question, you want to get in touch, we will answer to everybody.
Yeah.
So it's always a pleasure talking with fans. If you like something, if you hate us, let us know.
Awesome. Awesome, man.
Thank
All
you so
right.
much, Keith.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thank
much.
you. This has been so great. So yeah, again, thank you so much to Moonlight Seekers. I want to thank my producer Tyler Martin. Every single week, man, he does this, and it couldn't be done without him. In the weeks coming up, we've got the guitarist for Chin Ho, a cool indie rock band from the '90s. He's going to come on, and along that same lines, we're going to have part 2 of our interview with Jason Connolly from Brother Meat. And I'm working on some cool stuff for the last half of February that we haven't quite lined up yet. But man, Moonlight Seekers, go get the album. If you're in Canada and they're playing, go check them out. Thank you guys so much. I am Keith, and we will be back next week with more Most Excellent Entertainment.